Open your laptop. I'm going to show you exactly how to check if you've been hacked. 3 free tools, 10 minutes, no skills required. By the time this video ends, you'll have scanned your own machine the way a real cyber incident responder does. Your antivirus typically checks for known viruses, and it misses what's happening live on your machine right now. 3 tools I'm about to show you don't look for viruses. They show you what's actually running, what's connecting out, and how malware survives a reboot. Once you can read them, you can spot threats your antivirus would miss. The toolkit we will be using is called sysinternals. They're free, and Microsoft has published them since 2006. 3 tools used in this exact order: TCPview, Process Explorer, and Autoruns. Let's go. First, let's see what's calling home. The first tool is called TCPview, and it shows you every program on your computer that's currently talking to the internet. Go to Google and search sysinternals TCPview. Make sure you are on the official Microsoft page. Download the file. It's tiny, no installer, just a single executable. Right-click and run it as administrator, then click Yes when Windows asks. You might also see a Windows Smart Screen warning the first time you launch it. Just click More Info, and then run anyway. These tools are made by Microsoft and they're safe. The window opens with a long list, and each row is a program on your computer that's currently connected to the internet or listening for a connection. The leftmost column is the program's name, and to the right you'll see addresses, which are servers your computer is talking to. Colors update live as the list changes. Green means a brand new connection just opened. Red means one just closed. Yellow means the state just changed. White means stable. Now what to look for? 3 things. First, programs you don't recognize, having outbound connections and remote address. Most of what you see should be apps you actually opened, like Chrome, Spotify, or Discord. Some background programs are normal too, like your antivirus, your cloud sync, and your operating system. But if you see a program with a random string of letters and numbers, or a name that's almost a real Windows program but spelled slightly wrong, that's a red flag. Real Windows programs are named svclass.exe or explorer.exe. Malware loves names like sohost.exe with 1 letter missing, or explorer.exe with a capital I instead of an L. Easy to miss at a glance, so look carefully. Second, programs that shouldn't be online at all. A calculator app has no business connecting to the internet, and a PDF reader shouldn't be either. If you see a program that has no reason to be online but is making active connections, ask why. Third, right-click any suspicious route and choose Who is, and TCPview will try to look up who owns a server your computer is connected to. If you don't recognize the company name at all, and the location doesn't match anything you'd expect, that's worth investigating. When you find something suspicious, note the program's name exactly as it appears, and don't close anything yet. The next tool will tell you what that program actually is. You spotted something weird. Now let's see what it really is. Go back to the sysinternals page and download Process Explorer, then run it as administrator, saying UAC prompt as before. Click Yes. This tool is like Windows Task Manager, but on steroids. The list shows every program running on your computer, organized like a family tree. When one program launches another, you see them connected in the tree. This matters because the relationships often reveal malware. For example, if a Word document opened PowerShell, which is a Windows scripting tool, and that PowerShell then started connecting to the internet, you'd see that chain right there. Task Manager would hide it entirely. Process Explorer shows you the whole tree, top to bottom. First, set it up. Right-click any column header at the top and choose Select Columns. Check the boxes for Verified Signer and Image Path Name. Then click OK. 2 new columns appear in the list. Now turn on the magic feature. Go to the Options menu at the top, find Virus Total. Click Check Virus Total and accept the terms. What just happened is huge. Process Explorer sent a unique fingerprint of every program on your computer to Virus Total, which scans them against more than 70 antivirus engines worldwide. A new column appears with a score for each program. 3 things to look for. First, the Virus Total score itself. A score that starts with 0 means no antivirus engines flagged this program, and that's normal. Anything above 0 means at least 1 engine flagged it, and 3 or more engines flagging the same program almost always means it's malicious. The tool literally tells you so you don't have to guess. Second, signatures. Look at the Verified Signer column you just added. Real software is signed by a real company like Microsoft, Google, or Adobe, whoever made it. If you see Unable to Verify or the column is blank, that program is unsigned. Not every unsigned program is malware. Some small legitimate apps don't bother signing, but most malware is unsigned. Combine an unsigned program with an unfamiliar name, and you've probably found something worth investigating. Third, location. Look at the image path name column, which shows where on your hard drive the program file actually lives. Real Windows programs live in C/Windows/System32, and that's their home. If you see a program with a real-sounding Windows name, but its file is in your Downloads folder, your Temp folder, or your App Data folder, that's a huge red flag. The name is fake and the location gives it away. Malware loves to disguise itself with real-sounding names while hiding in user folders. When you find something suspicious, don't just kill it. Right-click and choose Suspend instead. That freezes the program without ending it, which matters for two reasons. First, it preserves the evidence in memory if you need to investigate further. Second, some malware has self-defense routines that trigger when you try to kill it, and suspending avoids that trigger. Take a screenshot of everything you see while you have it captured. But here's the thing about malware. Even if you suspend it or kill it, it usually comes back every time you reboot, because malware sets up hooks all over Windows to auto-restart itself. Finding those hooks is the third tool's job. We're halfway through. 2 tools down and 1 to go, and the third one is the most important because it's the one that actually removes the threat permanently. Now let's get to the tool that finds where malware hides to survive. You found it. You identified it. Now let's make sure it can never come back. Download order runs from the site's internals page and run it as administrator. Then give it about 30 seconds to scan your computer the first time. When it finishes, you'll see hundreds of entries sorted into tabs across the top. Things like logon, scheduled tasks, services, drivers, and image hijacks. There are dozens of tabs total, and each one is a different way Windows can automatically start a program. That's the point of this tool. Autoruns checks every place malware can hide that no other tool looks at. First, clean up the view. Go to the Options menu at the top and check Hide Microsoft Entries. Then check Hide Windows Entries. This filters out hundreds of legitimate built-in Windows components, and suddenly the list shrinks to something you can actually read. What's left is third-party software and anything else that's not standard, which is exactly where you want to look. Now turn on VirusTotal again, same place in the Options menu, same scan, just against your startup entries this time. Wait a minute for the scores to populate. 3 things to look for. First, any entry with a VirusTotal score above 0. The tool literally tells you, and if 3 or more engines flag a startup entry as malicious, you've almost certainly found malware's persistence mechanism. This alone is reason enough to use auto runs. Second, click the Scheduled Tasks tab specifically. This is where modern malware loves to hide, because it's invisible to most users and survives almost everything. Look for tasks with randomly generated names. Tasks set to run every 50 minutes. Tasks set to run at strange times like 3 in the morning. Or tasks pointing to files you don't recognize. Legitimate scheduled tasks are usually from major software you've installed, so anything weird here deserves a hard look. Third, entries pointing to files in your Downloads folder, your App Data folder, your Temp folder, or Program Data. Real software almost never installs into those locations. They're user folders, and malware loves them because they don't require administrator rights to write to. So if a startup entry is launching a program from one of those folders, especially with an unfamiliar name, that's a strong sign. When you find something suspicious, do not delete the entry immediately. Just uncheck the box next to it. This disables it without removing it, which means it's reversible. If you turn out to be wrong, you can re-enable it later, but if you delete an entry, you can't easily get it back. Once you've disabled the suspicious entries, reboot your computer, then open auto runs again and check whether those entries are still disabled. If they are, you're clean. If they've re-enabled themselves automatically, that means the malware is watching its own persistence and rebuilding it. And at that point, you have a deeper compromise than 3 free tools can fix. Back up your important files, your photos, and your documents, and reinstall Windows from a clean image.